the partners that I've mentioned, DYC, DCA, CGI, EACD. We also work with Global Career Month. This is the ones that put together all the career bodies, career development bodies in the world. We've worked with South African Career Development. We are partners on CCGD is a member of Career Development Association of Kenya, which we manage, but you're also members, UNESCO, ILO, I have mentioned. These are some of the partners that we've worked with, and more will be coming on board. The conversations have been taking place most of the year. If you'd like to find out more about this career conversation, you can go to YouTube and then you'll be able to listen to some of the ones that we've already uploaded. I will be sharing this on the chat so that in case there are more that you'd like to find out about or to listen to, you would be able to see it. Career conversations continue. And today we continue with the same. We are nurturing career readiness in students, a topic that will be handled by the able hands of Dr. Mercy Maina. We'll allow you to ask questions, observe, or anything you'd like to ask us. Dr. Mercy will also come back and tell us about being a CDP. How do we become CDPs? How do we become a professional in this sector? We are going to have some word from SIDAC, from Shaheen, and then we can have some discussions on the floor, and we open the floor for as many people as with all of you. Sorry. I would like to introduce our speaker for today, Dr. Mercy Maina. She is the Director of Learning and Development and Research in CCGD. Sorry. She is the faculty head in CCGD. She has a PhD in curriculum instructions, and she did an independent study on career guidance and development and education from AIU, and that is what started off this program after that. She has over 20 years experience in training, advising, counseling on career guidance, among very many others, for students in high schools, colleges, universities, young people in communities. That is what she's done. She's also we work closely at SIDAC and EACDA. That is Dr. Mercy. I want to stop sharing so that Dr. Mercy is able to share what she has for us today. So Dr. Mercy, the floor is yours. I'm going to stop sharing, then you can share. Asante.
Thank you, Margaret. Let me share the screen. Okay, and thank you very much, Margaret. I take the floor on discovering in terms of how we can nurture our students so that they can be ready for the world of work. The presentation is short, but I will engage you so that we can learn together. In your opinion, when should career learning or conversations or readiness begin? When should it begin? We can share on the chat. What do you think? When do you think career conversations or readiness should begin? Share on the screen, on the chat. I'm looking at the chat to see anyone who can put up audio and unmute or share on when they think that the conversations should begin. Elizabeth says secondary level. Edwin immediately one joins school. So school, which one? Ivan says from primary level. Somebody else wanted to say? Unmute.
From preschool.
In preschool, thank you. So we have primary level, we have preschool, immediately one joins school. Edwin says it's immediately when somebody joins a primary school. Okay, so we are going to see how best and when what has generally what is the that has been researched and been considered to be the best time when these conversations can begin. One, facts, and it is one of the facts about career readiness, that school learning process begins in early childhood and extends through adulthood. So it does not start in secondary school, but can start very early in early childhood in preschool and then extends throughout adulthood. And that's why career guidance is not a process. I mean, it's not an activity. It is it's a continuous process. It's a lifelong process, because from early childhood, as you move to primary school, you move to junior school, to senior school, to college, and then to the world of work. There's be so many transition points that require career advice, career preparation, that requires a lot of advising, mentoring, coaching, and all that, so that we can be able to get to the next stage of life. So it is a fact about this, that it is lifelong. Career readiness is lifelong process involving constant growth, changes, and adaptation. We've seen how COVID disrupted everything, but we had to continue to adapt to a new situation. And one of the products of the outcome of COVID is that we are able now to learn from one another. We can hear one another using technology. So again, preparation of careers is not an instant process. That is another fact, that it is not an instant process, but requires preparation and in a long time. So it is not a one-day activity. When we are in school, when we are students choosing courses or choosing subjects, it is not an activity. It's something that requires a lot of preparation, and we cannot peg career preparation based on activities, on one activity, and consider it that it has been the readiness is complete. So this is a fact, that students in the 21st century period, they will seek careers in an environment that is characterized by change, chance, and uncertainty. And for that reason, they will need the services of career guidance practitioners. So all these activities requires knowledge and skills. One, the knowledge of the work environment, that we've already seen that in the 21st century environment, there's a lot of disruption, there's a new technologies that are taking place, and so as the students get into the 21st, to prepare for the work that has not already, even the new jobs that have not yet been created, they need to be prepared for that. The students need to learn and explore careers, the different pathways that are available in different sectors. So based on the facts of what is taking place about the career preparation, the process, that it is a process, that it is growing, it changes, it's adaptive, then we need, again, the students needs to have the right knowledge so that they can be able to meet the needs or the requirements, or that for different areas that they would be interested in. Besides that, so what other skills do they need? They need academic skills. Academic skills, because education, basic education or education, the learning institutions give students with the literacy skills, numeracy skills, reading skills, the subject that are taught in schools, they are very, very important. And that's why we have the academic departments, so that they can be able to give the content for different types of work and the kind of careers that are available worldwide. Once they have the preparation through the academic skills, then they also need other employability skills. How do they get employable? What are the kind of skills that are needed by the labor market? What are the technical skills that are needed in specific industries? And besides that, for them to be able to live with one another, they are also to live with people, they also need social and emotional skills. So our students, when we think in terms of the facts that are on the ground, that they need to learn about careers from early childhood, that career preparation is not an instant. It requires a lot of preparation. That the environment through which our students, our children are going to get into the world of work that is constantly changing, that has a lot of uncertainty, then we need to prepare them adequately. And the skills that they need are academic, employability, technical, and social-emotional skills. And they need the knowledge of the world of work and be able to get more information about them and the different pathways and sectors. So then, what's the solution if these are the characteristics and these are the requirements that are supposed to have, or the skills that they need? So we need to look in terms of readiness. And so what is career readiness? It's comprehensive, systematic process of inspiring students of any age to prepare them for college success and the transition into the world of work. So preparing students of any age. And that's why we said when Edwin said that that career readiness and the conversations to start when somebody joins school. And joining school starts all the way from the PP1, pre-primary, in level 1 in the pre-primary or early childhood. So any activity that will be able to inspire students so that they can start thinking the purpose of education. Why do we, so that they can be able to answer confidently the question, what do you want to be when you grow up? Then this is the process through which now our students start thinking, start knowing how they can prepare themselves. So what are the pillars of career readiness? Is that we must build aspirations with our students. We must develop social capital. Social capital will be the relationships that they build with mentors, with advisors, with counselors, and etc. And we must also foster academic preparation. So that's why it's one of the academic skills that they need to be able to join into the world of work is academic preparation, academic skills. And so career readiness also fosters academic preparation and aspiration, so that any student, in terms of access, the requirements come from the academic angle. And so they need to be prepared thoroughly, and we must, even as we think in terms of career preparation or as career practitioners, we must also we must encourage academic achievement. Then some of the skills of the world of work can also be acquired through extracurricular activities. So we need to offer extracurricular activities because they build employability skills of teamwork, collaboration, punctuality, time management, practice, and etc. Then we also need to encourage basic education. Primary early learning education, primary and secondary, does not again give you the skills. It gives you the basic skills of literacy, numeracy, and reading and writing. And so we must be able to encourage through academic preparation that they must prepare for college education, because it's through college education they acquire skills development. And so skills development are the ones that will be able to help them access transit into the world of work. Then we need, if they are going to go into college, we must also be ready to guide them on college admissions, the requirements, and the kind of courses that they need to get into, and etc. And besides that, college education also requires some funding. So how do we help them access financial aid and the processes that are associated with that? And then finally, through college education, when they are in college and they have already been able to enroll, the courses that they do should also be prepared them. And they should have a lot of preparation on transition into the world of work. And we'll be able to shortly showcase how that can be done. So what are the general principles of career readiness? One is that every student has to own the process. It has an individual responsibility for each student has an individual responsibility so that they can develop their careers. It's not their parents, it's not the teachers, friends, or anyone else. So we must encourage our students, at whatever level, to own the process of knowing what they want to be and where they can be, and how they can transit into the world of work. Then another principle is that it is self-directed, that once we build confidence, we build aspiration, that we constantly encourage them to think about what they would want to be in the future, then we encourage them to start to have a sense of commitment. And the commitment will come into terms of the academic skills, in terms of the social-emotional skills, employability skills, so that they can be able to acquire the relevant qualifications or the tools that are needed for them to get into the labor market. And then the principle of readiness, that career development is a lifelong process. It is not a one-stop. It's not a one-day activity. And so what are the benefits of this? One, it expands the sense of possibilities related to careers for the students. Once they get to know that about careers from early when they are very young, and we are saying they are not going to choose. They are just being aware. They are just made aware to know the kind of the kind of work adults do. Then, by the time they start thinking from early years, or the time they get into college, by the time they reach college, they will have a lot of information about careers, and then that way it becomes easier for them to choose. And when they have a lot of knowledge or the information about careers, it becomes easier for them to pick what would be suitable for them. Then the other benefit is that it helps students to be specific and also to be realistic about their career and college goals. Once they are exposed to a lot of career information, career conversations, career engaging with professionals and etc., then it becomes specific for them. It becomes easier for them to be able to pick, this is what I would want to do, this is because, and they'll have reasons for that. They can be able to advocate for what they would want to be. And so the issue of uncertainty becomes reduced. Then they'll be more reflective in thinking about college and career opportunities. The more they hear, the more they get more information, the more they have exposure, then they are likely to be more self-reflective, so that they can think, they can weigh which would be suitable for them and which would be easier for them, which will be speak to them, and that way they will have students who are ready for what God created them to be. So what should be the process? What are the kind of processes or the tools that should we engage in so that we can nurture them to be what God created to be? There are 4 steps. And the one step is knowing who you are. We must encourage our students by knowing who am I? And that is the first step. The second one, it's exploration. Once I know who I am, I like to work with people. I like working with money. I like working with machines and tools. Then the next step is to use the machines and tools. Then what are the options? that are associated with machines and tools, and what are the careers associated with machines and tools. So what are my options? So that's where exploration comes in, and that is where a lot of research, that's how the activities that of exploration take place. Then the third one, once they are able to know which one, if it's machines and tools, and specifically which machines, then they need to be able to prepare for them, prepare themselves for that in terms of application, in terms of subjects, in terms of knowing how do I get there. So they will choose the right subjects, they'll be able to identify the colleges that offer that, and etc. and the requirements that are, and then from there, once they know the kind of where they need to go, how to get there, then the fourth step is the training. So once I know what I want to do, then I need the training, and the training is so that I can be able to have the right skills, and the skills development takes place in training, through training and education, and we'll be able to see how the continuum deals with this. So this is how this can be implemented from the early years. We have career awareness, then what we've just using the model of the career awareness, exploration, preparation, and training. And so at what stage do we have these activities? So in early years, the responsibility of educators is to create an awareness of different career fields, the kind of work people do, and the kind of the self-awareness in terms of know who I am, what I would want to be, answering that question, what do you want to be when you grow up? So they start now creating that awareness. The sensitivity that this is something that they will be able to do, and the conversations about if you have a child in that age, and then you are moving somewhere, like maybe you see a policeman, then you say, that is a policeman. This is, what do you think is the work of the policeman? And then the conversation now can be able to create curiosity, so that they'll be more inquisitive in finding out. When they see somebody doing something, they will be now creating the curiosity to be able to find it. So what does that person do, and what kind of work, and what do they need, and how did they get there, and etc. So generally, in terms of awareness, career awareness for early years is to be able to appreciate the kind of work that adults do, their parents do, their relatives do. And that way, they start now vocabulary, gathering the information about the different type of work, and then there'll be respect for the kind of work that people do. And when they now go to middle school, it is now refining that understanding through exploration. If they saw a policeman, and they saw the purpose of policeman is not just to stop cars on the at the roundabout, or at where they are managing traffic. There are other roles that policemen do. They promote safety within the communities. In terms of protection, enforcement of law. So in middle school, then they can start researching, asking them, read about them, giving them information. You get articles about different occupations, and then share them with them. And then alongside that, they continue preparing for high school, because middle school, they will be able to move to the next stage of high school, and through high school, they will now be able to transit into the into higher education. So exploration of careers, researching, reading, and any information that will be give them understanding, more understanding, other than just identifying and listing the occupations that people do. So based on those lists that they may have acquired for during early years, then we encourage them to read about them, to research, and then they also encourage them to know that the subject, the areas that you are doing, the information you are gathering, it's very important because you will have subjects, you will have academic preparation in high school so that you can eventually be able to get into courses that will help you into the area that you will have identified based on the list that they will have, the researches that they will have collected. So preparation, again, in terms of readiness, now starts in high school, starting with the subjects that they choose. We have issues of the students choosing wrong subjects, and once they choose the wrong subject, they foreclose some of the opportunities that they may have in the future. So careful consideration of subjects and the requirements for the world of work is very important, and that should be done in high school. And alongside that, engage the students with work-based learning activities, job shadow activities, community activities, and etc., so that they can know, be able to test company tours and etc., visits to institutions of higher learning, so that they can see exactly what is expected in the next stage of their life. So alongside preparation for post-secondary education, we saw that this year, the 2022, 2023, 2024, I think 2 weeks ago, how about over 500,000 students did not seek for post-secondary education. And we know that higher education, the post-secondary education, is the one that prepares students for skills development. So if we miss in that preparation, then it means that they will be able, in terms of the world of work, they will either be getting unskilled, they will work as skilled workers, or in terms of access to decent work is going to be limited. So it is important in this preparation stage of the 4, when they are in high school, encourage them to seek post-secondary education, and post-secondary education is the one now gives the skills development, the skills that they'll be able to apply in the world of work. So again, the pathways need to be understood. So depending on each student, what are the interests, what are the pathways, what are the subject requirements for those particular pathways. And I think even when we get into the junior school, in the ECBC, when the junior school will be now transiting into the senior school, we already have the 4 pathways that have been identified, the sports and art, then we have the STEM, and then the social sciences or the humanities. So how do we encourage our students to know which pathway they need to get into? That again needs to have started early, so that we are not just thinking about the pathways when they are in high school. So in the middle school, early years where there is more awareness, general knowledge about careers, then reading about them, so that by the time now they get into senior school, then they will have better grounding in terms of knowing the pathway that they will be able to get into. Then finally, when they get into the into higher education, so this is where the training, the skills development takes place. So we have the orientation of the students into different courses that they have done. One of the activities that would be very important is the course or career mapping. If a student is taking psychology, for example, what are the activities that are associated with psychology? What are the, from first year, what are the basic understanding? What are the requirements? And the content that they learn in first year, what is it? What is its use in the world of work? So alongside that is the industrial attachment. It is important so that they can link between what they learn in the classroom and into the be able to apply that into the world of work. Internships post secondary, post high school, or post college internships. If jobs are not available, internship programs then again are useful in terms of preparing them for to be able to gain experience. Then we have the job search skills. Again, they need to be taught in the classroom, so that by the time now they exit, then they are well prepared. They know how to write their CVs. They know how to prepare application letters, searching for companies, and and in terms of even looking for jobs, we already know that the jobs, if the 21st century's world of work is uncertain, then it means that the physical jobs are going to also to be limited. So what should we encourage? We need to encourage our college students to think in terms of the jobs that are available in the digital space and how do they access them. So these are some of the job search skills that they need to be taught so that by the time they exit, they will be able to be more successful in joining the world of work. So these are the 4 ways through which now Career Readiness Continuum can prepare our students. Depending on where each student is, these are some of the activities that can be shared, that we can be able to use for ourselves. I want to show an example of how, if we are more sensitive, we are able to look, in terms of how we can apply ourselves. It's providing a course or career mapping. These are a good example of psychology. The branches in which can be applied will be in the community, in the health, in the business, in the sports, in the forensics, in education, and research. If this information is provided from first year, then again, we'll be able to provide an opportunity for them to be able to aspire, so that they will, even as they pick the lessons, they pick the electives year after year, then it becomes easier for them to know the expectation, the outcomes of the course that they have taken. I'm not sure whether we are able to do that, we are able to do this, but it's something that we can start considering, and as we go through our education. Those I've seen, some of us are in colleges, and if you're in college or in TVET or in a university, these are some of the areas that we can start influencing, and especially if we are members of the Office of Career Services, these are the things that we need to do. If you think in terms of subjects in high school, again, they also can be mapped the same way. And once they are mapped, then it creates curiosity, it creates aspiration for the students, and these are some of the new ways that we can be able to incorporate in our teaching, in our advising, in our engaging with our students. Another example, is a good one, is a picture. Like now, this would be a nice one for high schoolers or even for middle schoolers, where we have more pictures. If you think in terms of psychology, that is what would be the related. What are some of the areas that a psychologist can plug in? Either they can be art therapists, they can be consumer psychologists, and consumer psychology, this is now in business. They can be counselors, they can be in forensic or criminal psychologists, school psychologists, sports, and and the list can go on and on and on. So these are some of the ways, if we have these tools that are shared with our students, then it becomes easier for them to conceptualize how careers can be run, can be incorporated in the day-to-day activity. This is another map of how this is a university that has mapped out psychology major, a map. So they have the courses, they have the opportunities, they have the research, and the opportunity for exploration. So we have first year, second, third, and fourth. And that way, the students then at every year, they know what is expected, and these are the activities, self-directed activities can be engaged at this particular level. I will share with you the link so that you can be able to interact with this, and especially those who are in college, this would be one of the tools I think would be useful for you. So the question again, there is that question, then isn't it too early to ask preschoolers to get to start thinking about careers? So we are saying introduction of careers or jobs at early age is not intended so that the students or the children can make premature choices over future careers, but a process of encouraging them to broadly consider a variety of options that are available, and not to restrict or limit their possibilities for the future. So if the students from preschoolers, they have, if you were to use the alphabet, an activity using the alphabet. There will be like 26 vocabularies built around careers, so that by the time they get into the senior school, where we have so many of us high schoolers having challenges identifying courses, this information will have a whole vocabulary, a whole long list, and then their opportunity then for them is to be able to discriminate, to be able to differentiate which one would be best for them and be able to apply them. So the caution is that we are not saying that career conversations is so that the students or the preschoolers or the young children can be able to make choices, but to start thinking about them broadly and have a longer list. And the more they have a long list, the more possibilities that they may have in terms of aspirations for what they would want to be. So what are the goals of this? Is that one, there are 4 of them, is to help learners learn about careers, occupations, know themselves, and develop their capabilities. We say one of the requirements is that they must be skilled. And one of them is through academic preparation, employability skills, the technical skills, and also the socio-emotional skills. The second one is to allow learners to investigate and research on different careers and also related educational opportunities. So encouraging that we know they need to read more about them. They need to get to know the relationship between what they want to be and the requirements for educational opportunities. So then the conversation then makes it easier for them to know that I'm going to become an accountant, then maths is needed. Counting is needed when I'm a young child. So what does that mean? That the aspiration of doing well in maths is already instilled as from early years, so that we don't have as many, it will also remove the barrier of limiting of some students for closing or thinking some subjects are difficult and others are boring. So the third one will be to provide opportunities to make choices about further education and training in relation to anticipated careers and occupations. Basic education up to Form 4 will not give them skills. It will only give them literacy, arithmetic, and reading. The 3 R's: reading, writing, and counting. So for that reason, then readiness, the goal of the readiness is that the learners need to be able to be prepared, to be encouraged, that they go beyond the basic education. And then finally is to provide tools to manage transitions from school to work, and the tools of job search, industrial attachment, and any other tools, job search skills that are needed so that they can be able to transit into the world of work. So then what tools should we be able to use for our learners? There are several of them. There will be the assessment tools or tests so that they can be able to know who they are scientifically. There are career assessment tools that are available. There are those ones that are free. There are those ones that are paid up. So, and they are available online. So these tools would be useful in terms of where the students, in terms of identifying what their natural interests are, what their abilities, what their talents are. We'll also self-reflection activities, provide self-reflection activities so that they can be able to identify what their likes, what their dislikes, what their strengths and their weaknesses. And one of the requirements, if there's those reflection activities, if one of the areas of the careers they have thought that would be suitable for them and they are struggling in it, it's also an opportunity for them to be able to work on to overcome some of the weaknesses so that they do not foreclose that opportunity of their careers. Then we have observation checklists as adults, as parents, when we may not know what they are, in terms of their children, their natural wiring, or how their natural likes and dislikes, then observation checklists to be useful. In the CBC, there will be the identification of talents, of abilities. Some of those things that cannot be measured through academic records, then we have observation checklists. Then community service activities like job shadow will be able to help in terms of community service learning, engaging in volunteering activities, again, provide an opportunity for building the employability skills and the application of the technical skills where they provide they volunteer their skills in certain in projects in the community. Then extracurricular activities and other competitions. Again, extracurricular activities build those other soft skills that will never be taught. The teamwork, collaboration, communication, punctuality, time management, and etc. And so again, this again will be encouraged that even beyond the school setup, even in clubs and societies, again, are very important. Offering for leadership positions in clubs and societies, again, provide those leadership or career readiness skills. And then monitoring academic records, and especially because one of the preparation, to be able to get into the world of work, academics, we can never divorce ourselves from academics. And so we need to encourage our students to monitor their academic records so that they can be able to prepare themselves early enough to know that these are the required standards, and based on those standards, then what kind of support do you need and how can they be supported in those areas? Again, other opportunities would be teaching career skills, organizing talks on careers, on occupations, on job search skills and ETCs. Those are some of the activities that will be able to help, so that we can be able to help our learners get the feel of what is expected in the world of work. If it's the early childhood sector, they can have dress-up days. They can have a corner where they can be able to collect information about occupations, and then they post it, and etc. The opportunities in terms of implementing in our learning institutions, how career readiness can be mainstreamed within the school system. There are many opportunities, and the list can go on and on. So what would be our role as educators? One is to excite and motivate our learners by linking what they learn with the world of work. The mapping out of courses of subjects is one of the ways that can excite, because it already shows it gives hope to them. And the second one is to help learners see a clear link and the purpose between what they are learning and their future. So the learning experiences in the classroom. Why am I learning biology? So that is them. Why am I learning maybe in a communication skills in college? And I'm not learning to become a communication expert. So we need to be able to explain, to link the purpose of those particular activities within the school system, so that they can make meaning to the students and be able to embrace and have more hope and also aspire. Then support the raising of standards and achievement and attainment. Academic skills are very important because of the skills development. If math is needed to become a finance expert, then we need to know the standards for that particular area. If English is needed for journalism, then we need to raise the standards. What are the requirements for that particular area? So our role is to be able to get that information and be able to communicate it effectively in a way that our learners can be able to take it and be able to implement them. Reinforce the importance of research at all times, so that if we are not we may not have all the information as teachers or as lecturers or as Office of Career Services, but we can be able to encourage our learners or any person that we are interacting with to be able to research, so that they do not over-rely on ourselves. The research, we have now many tools of getting information, and so to be easy for them to be able to access that. And then broaden the learnings horizons and by raising aspirations, challenging stereotypes that learners and parents often have about jobs and the kind of people and the kind of jobs people do. So this is very important, so that when the students are making choices, we should be able to have the aspect of dignity of all jobs, so that some will not feel that they are not choosing the right courses. So that stereotypes that may exist among parents or learners should be able to be challenged, and scientifically by providing the right information. Be able to help learners identify their own talents, abilities, the self-reflective reflection activities should be able to help that, and by and large also instill that confidence. And then we must be able at all times tailor-make career-related learnings that are age appropriate at all times. And I think that is at the end. I think I've taken more time, but I hope that has been helpful in terms of how we can prepare our students to get into the world of work from as early to the time to the highest level of education. Thank you. Over back to you, Margaret.
Oh, asante sana, Mercy. Mercy always has so much information. Sometimes somebody was asking me the other day, where does she get all that? Where does she get all that information? It's because because this is part of what she does every day. So asante sana. I liked the fact that she's taught us about how to apply what we learn. If I'm doing mathematics, where will it take me? Why am I learning it? If I'm doing communications, if I'm doing biology, if I'm doing geography, where can I learn? These are the skills that go, and career readiness. These are the conversations that have been going around the globe for the last 5 years. And in Kenya, we cannot be left behind. So it is very, very important for us to understand and to learn. So thank you so much, Dr. Mercy. Do we have any question? Anybody you can put up your hand and mute, and then you can ask Mercy. As she takes a break, she can take a breather so that she has so that she can also take us through the next one. So wonderful presentation from Dr. Mercy. That is somebody from, that is what I'm picking. Also from Peter, wonderful indeed. It's very informative. Any question, clarification? Do you mind sharing your PowerPoint presentation, Dr. David Kamau? We won't share, but we'll give you the link immediately after this. We'll give you the link, then you can watch it on YouTube. Other wonderful presentation, fantastic. All right, Tudor, people are clapping. Mercy, I think you've done a very good job. I know it was a lot of information, but I think many people have really, really picked it. So kindly share via emails. I will, because you registered, so I already have your email. So I'm going to share the link, then you'll be able to have it. Okay, it was wow, that is Edwin, very insightful, fantastic. So thank you very, very much. Any question? Good information, it should be taken to teachers from the lowest level of learning. Yes, that is what we really, really, really want. There is somebody whose hand is up. You can unmute and ask your question. Mercy Kamau?
Hello.
Yes,
Thank
Mercy.
you so much. I'm Mercy Macau, but people confuse Macau with Kamau. Dr. Mercy, your presentation was very powerful. It's good. I wish I had this one before I joined campus. Thank you so much. However, I have one question. What is your view concerning institutions allowing the students to only have one industrial attachment? Should it be after every 1 year, or one attachment is good for over 4 years? Thank you.
Thank you, Mercy, my namesake. I think the industrial attachment is a policy issue, and it is based on how the courses are mapped. There are some courses that have 2 industrial attachments. There are others that have 1, and so that one, it is debatable, and it depends on how a course has been mapped out. So it's not the institution that decides. It is from how the courses were mapped out or how they were organized. Then some will offer 2. I know the NEC, the ones that are done by Kenya, the NEC examinations, they have 2 industrial attachments. So those ones for the courses examined by NEC, or even established or prepared by Kenya KICD for TVET, for technical, they have 2 industrial attachments. So depends on the institution and the person who has been how the curriculum has been organized.
Thank you so much, Mercy.
Unless somebody from TVET who can be able to add more on that. But I thought that is the only way that I think, based on how the courses have been arranged.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, Joyce, you can unmute.
Okay, thank you so much for that wonderful presentation. My name is Joyce Dairu, a lecturer at Multimedia University of Kenya, and I want to respond to Mercy's question. Based on practice, probably most of our courses at the university have 1 industrial attachment. However, I usually encourage students during the long holiday, get a place and get attached instead of sitting at home. That makes them build their skills, build their networks. So the university may have 1 industrial attachment, but a student can get as many industrial attachments as possible, because, for example, in our case, if a student comes and asks for a letter to be, a letter, so that an introductory letter to present in the industry, they will always be given. And that is an opportunity for learning. So individual responsibility is critical there. So yes, thank you.
Thank you. Yes, individual responsibility and also self-directedness. Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. I also want to add that there was a report for BEAR2 that was done on report on the role of continuous professional development and industrial attachment in Kenya's TVET. It gives also some guideline, and I think part of what Dr. Mercy has talked about, and even part of what Joyce has talked about, I have shared it on the link, then you can pick it up. So thank you very much. For the purpose of time, if there is any observation, you can write it online. I can see somebody is also asking for the PowerPoint. We will give you the link to the, we are going to give them the link to YouTube, and then you'll be able to listen it again. So Dr. Mercy, you can take us through the next session, and then because we only have quickly like 5 minutes, you'll be able to take us through the next session. Is that Dr. Mercy has shown us that there is so much that she knows. We want to know how she has gotten to know all these things. So Dr. Mercy, you can share and tell us about it.
Okay, quickly I will share how you can get qualified, because we have a diploma in that area.
If you're not ready, if you're not ready, I can have Shaheen come through.
It's
okay. If you're ready, it's fine. Right. Thank you.
So how there's a career over and above all this information. If you are in a teacher serving communities and in the space of youth, this is a qualification that we have, a diploma in career guidance and development that takes 1 year, 4 semesters. And these are the content. It has cognitive competencies, that the skills to know in terms of theory, in terms of the different areas of career development. the functional competences of knowing how. So we have information, we have counseling, and etc. The personal competences of how to behave as a professional, the ethical practices that govern the personal competences to be able to deliver these surveys, and then the ethical. Any discipline has ethical principles that governs it, and so it will also have that ethical competences of upholding, so that it can help in terms of upholding professional values. So how, in terms of the course has been developed, has been co-developed with ABMA UK, and it is, instead of compliance and standards, it's recognized and equated by Kenya National Qualification Framework. Then assessment, awarding of, and the certificate is by ABMA. So we are the content developers, and it is the assessment is done by ABMA. Then as a center, as CCGD is registered by ABMA as an examination center, and also a tuition center for the diploma, and then also by TVETA. The TVETA is the authority, the TVET institution that registers and licenses all colleges offering from artisan certificate or the diploma. Then in terms of our staff, we have some are licensed by TVETA, and most of them also have masters in career guidance and development from global universities. So how is the course delivered? We have scheduled guided virtual classes by teams in the evening. And then we also have learning management system where we have activities, extra materials that are sent are posted on the Moodle. And then also the assessments again are done online. But the final one of the end of term assessments are their essays, and so during orientation, you're able to learn this if you're able to pick up this course. And then flexible, we also consider in terms of flexibility, a flexible payment plan, and then either per month, per unit, or depending on the arrangements that you enter with the admin. Then application of this course, there are 5 ways. Either once you have the skills of career guidance and development, you can be a curriculum developer on specific on careers, or course, or planning for workshops, designing, developing, and evaluating and revising career education programs, the ability to integrate career management competencies in school curriculums, developing and reviewing information products. The way you saw the mapping out of the courses, the samples that I shared, these are information products. And if you are trained in this, you can be able to map out, you can be able to produce materials that are age appropriate, and so that they can be used by our learners at different levels. And then again, we can also help our learners in terms of developing their career portfolios. So what are the opportunities as a professional, either a career teacher, officer in learning institutions, as a mentor, as a job placement service, as a career consultant, a coach, information specialist, or advisor, and the list is not exhaustive. So we have 2 intakes, May and September, and so we have a September intake ongoing, and the classes will begin on 18th of September. So if there's someone you think that can benefit from this, we'd be happy to be able to help them. It could also be you. We'd be an employed graduate and be able to take advantage of this space that is taking, that is the field that is growing, or our neighbor, our children. It is open to all. Any other? These are the faculty members. We have the global career guidance experts. We have Amy, we have Nikki, Polly, they're from UK. Then we have locals, we have Pauline and Dr. Fidel. Dr. Fidel teaches on career guidance for special needs, and she's very passionate about that. And then we have also Polly for information, Nikki, theory, Amy, mentoring, advising, and etc. And then there are no shortcuts to any place worth going. This is what Beverly Seal said. So if you want to become professional in this area, there are no shortcuts about it. And so that's why we had this in mind, that so that anyone doing this kind of work, if they get the right competencies, they will enjoy the service of meeting the needs of their students at every level. So thank you. I think that's all.
Thank you very much, Dr. Mercy. Like now you know why she has so much information every time she comes here. She always has so much information when it comes to career guidance that she's asking that we be able to become practitioners and join us. I have put in a form there, and I put in also the website where you can go for more information, and then you can register, or you can put in your name in the form, then we'll be able to talk to you. Now, when I'm talking about we joining, we have an association of career development. There's a Career Development Association of Kenya. CCGD is a member. Most of you, I cannot already see members also for CCGD here. And for those who are not members, it is very important that you are able to not only just learn, but also to be members so that you'll be getting trends and finding out more about this sector. I would like to invite Shaheen. Shaheen, I'll give you 3 to 5 minutes. It's about 3 to 5 minutes so that you can tell us about being a member. Come in, Shaheen.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Shaheen Dar, and I am one of the pioneer members of CDAC. If you could, Margaret, just give me the rights to share my screen. Okay. So I'd like to take you to my screen, my PowerPoint. Is that visible to all?
We can't see.
Can you see it?
No.
Well, I've shared it.
You've gone to the share. Have you gone to the share button?
I've gone to the share. Yeah, just a minute. I've gone to the share. There. Okay. So
either go to the window.
Okay, I have to go to the window. Now can you see it?
It's coming through.
Yes.
Is it visible?
Yes, it's coming.
Okay.
The slideshow?
Yeah, it's a slideshow. So basically, I want to start off by asking anyone who can answer me. Why are you here? What would you like to know about CDAC? Just one question. One question and one answer from the audience. Anyone who knows about CDAC? Okay, fine. So let me just carry on. It was launched in 2023 and the first professional body of career guidance practitioners in Kenya. So obviously it's something worth its while. It's something that is being put on the map of not only Kenya, but on the whole of Africa. Our vision is to advocate and promote lifelong professionalism in career guidance and development in Kenya. And our mission is to provide a framework for career guidance and development practices by establishing professional standards and guidelines for practitioners offering these services in Kenya. So basically, if we look at what's happening here is that CDAC is ensuring authenticity and credibility of the career counseling profession through following standards and guidelines based on ethical principles. CDAC is also on a mission to foster collaborative partnerships at local level and in the global arena through collaborative and coordinated efforts to fill the policy and service gaps in the field of professional career counseling services. And CDAC intends to empower all educational institutions to enhance career awareness and strengthen their capacity to support students in their lifelong career journeys. So if you're already a professional or you are aiming to become a professional and you're studying at college or at university, this is the way to go, because this is something that's going to give you authenticity and it's going to give you direction. So what are the professional and personal skills acquired through CDAC membership? So to begin with, I've used the army knife as a symbol because I think we need to now, we've looked at, there was a beautiful presentation by Dr. Mercy, a very professional and informative one. And we've looked at development of progressive development of careers awareness, from basic awareness to crystallization to finding out which courses and preparing students for their stepping out of the school into the university. But what do we need to do as professionals? So the educator is one of the people who are actually very, very important in terms of making these transitions smooth, in terms of making sure that the students are confident in making their choices. So being a CDAC member, you're going to get recognition and credibility. So that is one of the purposes of the Army knife. You go out with the Army knife anywhere in the forest and you'll be able to survive because it's got so many functions. And these are all the skills that you're picking along the way as you are a member of CDAC. So you connect with professionals, experts, peers in the career development field. You follow international level guidelines and standards based on ethical principles. Your own professional development is going to take a very focused kind of goal-oriented outlook. So you participate in training programs and skill building sessions. You stay updated on the latest industry trends through the CPD engagement, that's continuous professional development, enhance your knowledge and expertise in career development. Then there are networking opportunities, connecting with professionals, experts, peers in the careers development field, attend international conferences, workshops, webinars, and again, that's a lot of valuable interactions because it fosters mentorships. You will have access to resources, gain a wealth of career-related resources, including research articles and best practices. So you stay updated with the latest trends and developments, and this is a necessity in the 21st century, the direction in which we're going, where the digital technology is taking over. You get job opportunities, access to job listings and career opportunities in various sectors, connect with potential employers and increase your chances of landing your dream job. Then there is advocacy and representation. CDAC advocates for the interests of career development professionals in policy discussions. So you have a voice in shaping the future of career development practices in Kenya. And I think that is a rare opportunity where you synergize, where you are making an impact, where you're giving back to the community and you come up with your creative ideas and make them happen. Then there are collaborative projects. You participate in collaborative impact projects and initiatives aimed at improving career development strategies, contribute to the growth of profession on a larger scale. And finally, when we get there, when we are really well known and we've been put on the world map, you will be enjoying in future discounts on events, workshops, other association services. You will have members only benefits where you can save money, for example, scholarships for your professional development. So what are the CDAC impact project opportunities we're looking at? Initiate and lead imperative career development projects as an accredited career guidance and development practitioner. So when you're accredited and you are CDAC recognized, you can provide need-based outreach career counseling services, training of trainers workshops, peer and professional mentorship programs for lifelong careers, special needs education training aligned to the CBC curriculum. And this is in great demand right now with the new education that has been introduced. Sensitization on the need and relevance of SDG goals and related careers. And this is very little is known of the SDG goals in the present education system. And we do really need our people who can have an impact. For example, water conservation, for example, agriculture, developing soil fertility, or whichever field you look at in terms of environmental conservation. You will have access to local and international careers information, scholarship opportunities for academic and vocational education. You have an opportunity to lead and be a leadership training programs, workshops, seminars. And again, finally, you will also have an opportunity to give pro bono services to the disadvantaged and underprivileged members of the community. So you will give an opportunity to students to implement and schools to implement experiential learning skills and strategies for career decisions and progression, and set up the 21st century technological and skill set training boot camps. This is what we expect of professionals, of professional career counselors. So register register with CDAC now. CDAC is the North Star for your personal career guidance and development. The North Star meaning it's giving you a focused direction, not only in Kenya, the world over. And the lifelong career journeys of your counselees who are under your care will also have a sense of the same direction. CDAC intends to enhance your proficiency in a noble service of serving the disadvantaged and underrepresented community members. And they are the people who are in dire need of support. So if we need to build up an army of these specialists, then definitely CDAC is the place. And you know which college to go to develop this proficiency. CDAC offers you an opportunity to become proficient in your field by sharing your creative ideas to make this platform the most essential stepping stone for becoming a successful career guide. CDAC gives you an opportunity to engage with experts at local and international levels and learn skills related to digital revolution in the field of career guidance and development. It will motivate you to deliver services to the best of your ability by recognizing and awarding your outstanding career counseling services to individuals and community. And it will challenge you to take up the onus of creating careers awareness, sharing knowledge, advocating and creating tools to enhance lifelong career decisions. So get to know us and let us be the hallmark service for your personal and professional needs. So you can reach us on www.cdac.co.ke. Okay, so that is what I needed to share. Any questions?
Thank you, Shaheen. That is very passionate of you. Asante sana. In case there is thank you, the hallmark of success is CDAC. Thank you so much. So in the interest of time, I think we have heard it from the horse's mouth. That are two things that you take with you, actually three: career readiness, how to nurture students on career readiness. Number two, how to become a practitioner. Number three, how to become a member of the association, Career Development Association, so that you can become the North Star, as Shaheen says it. So thank you very much, Shaheen, and thank you, team. Maybe 2 more minutes in case there is anybody with a question, anybody with any observation, anything that you'd like to know. I saw Arthur was asking about the fee structure. It's already there in the website for more information, but you can always call us in case there is anything that you need to know from us, any clarification. You can call us. Dr. Mercy has already written our numbers there. Then you'll be able to do it to also get back to us. So thank you so much for your time. It is 8:50. Anybody with any question or any clarification? Yes, Dr. Mercy?
It's Arthur is asking, the qualification is level 6. What is it for a starter like me? The level 6 is for any student or any who has a first qualification. If you have a diploma or a degree, or even we have PhD holders in this area, in this course, yes, it's for this one. So you start, that's the 1 year. Level 6 is the classification of how courses are mapped out by the National Qualification Framework. So the course has been leveled, has been mapped out at level 6.
Thank you. So it is post what you have already received. So other, we expect you in class in September and others as well. All right. Any other question? All right, if there is no other question, I, on behalf of the team of CCGD and CDAC, I take this opportunity to thank you very much for being with us and for listening. And I'm sure there is something that you've taken home, and let us go and work and help our young people as the leaders of tomorrow. So thank you very much, and may God bless you all. We normally have these career conversations taking place every week. We are going to announce the next one as we move forward. So thank you and God bless you all. Bye. Yes, Peter? Peter Yasura, your hand is up.